7 o'clock. Okay, welcome everybody to the Village of Rhinebeck Planning Board meeting for November 21, 2023. First item on the agenda, new business is Dutchess County Historical Society, the sign application. Now, you have a picture of the sign?
Want to come on up, Bill?
Yeah.
Mr. Bill Jeffway?
I'm
with Bill.
You're with Bill? I haven't spoken to you in a while.
I know.
I forgot to tell you, I beat the meeting tonight.
So when Hobson's closed and they were going to make the farm stand and everything, they left that sign out on the road as a placeholder because we have a few places in the village where we have off-premises signs on the road. And so we left that there to grandfather it. And I saw the design of the sign. I just had one question.
Oh, yeah.
I know we put the sign there because we held it as a placeholder, but if people are driving from somewhere else, they're going to pass the driveway and see the sign. I was wondering if it would make sense to move it further south so you'd see it, or maybe that's kind of sort of next right.
Depends which way you're going, though, right?
Which way? People come from Red Hook to go to you, or they come from Poughkeepsie to go to you?
Yeah, but, you know, we're up in the northwest corner, so theoretically, most of the people are gonna come from the south rather than the north.
Oh, I see.
I'm just worried about,
Well, I see
they'll
what you're
pass the
saying.
driveway, they'll see the sign, oh, that was them, I missed it.
Well,
And then they'll make a U-turn or go down Mill and come in the back way or something
but
like
that
that.
raises a good point, and maybe, so I realize it wasn't clear in this because the intention was for us to have a wooden frame, which I think we even discussed last time. The problem is, both because of the availability of the sign maker and the winter weather, we wanted to do it in 2 steps so that we would have the sign manufactured and installed within the pole for the spring, so it would look like that. But, sorry, for now, for, November, December. And then in the spring, install the wooden part. But we could, when we install the wooden part, we could put it anywhere you think is. But
Yeah.
I didn't point out, and I have a revised image that I can.
Or maybe you have something on the bottom, like, next right or something, or an arrow.
There's 2
That has
reasons
both,
I think
yeah.
you should move the sign. One is that when you pull up to the crosswalk on Mill, it blocks the vision going left.
Oh.
Now, the crosswalk is set back from the travel lane.
Right.
So most people would stop at the crosswalk and then inch out, and then you get visibility. But it is in an awkward spot from the point of view where you first stop.
I see what you're saying.
And then secondly, I agree with what Dave just said, it makes more sense when it was a farm stand.
I don't have enough.
In theory, a lot of people would be coming local from
Yeah.
Village of Rhinebeck and from the main intersection. Now, since it's a county facility, I think there's a good chance that a lot of people might be coming from the south, and it makes more sense to put next to the driveway or in front of the building. So either put it in front of the building right at the walkway, or to the right of the driveway, to the south of the driveway.
I see what you're saying.
There's a tree there, you could put it right behind the tree so you could see it from both sides.
I see what you're saying.
And it would be before the driveway, so anybody coming from the south would see it and then pull in.
And they coming from the north would see it too, as they're approaching the driveway.
Yeah.
I think it's a better spot. We could just stretch the grandfather business so to move it, that same distance from the thing, but,
Doesn't really need a grandfather, does it?
No, what
It's
we're
legal.
saying, we're grandfathering the off-premises sign by having it out on the street. Where it was out on the street, I don't think matters that much if we wanted to move it a little further south, the visibility.
Yeah.
Maybe even have a double arrow, one on each side. So coming south would see the arrow, coming north would see the arrow. And I don't know, or maybe just the sign's enough.
I think the sign's enough if it's at the driveway
Yeah.
or in front of the building. And you
Yeah,
can take a look
I
and
see
see
what
what you
you're
like.
I think it's a good idea, can I just say something? Except in the summertime, there's hay being grown over there, or corn, whatever he's growing over there. It might block the sign if you're coming from the south, depending on where
Don't you
you put it.
have enough room to put it?
Here's the existing sign that you're proposing putting the new one up.
Yeah.
Here's the entrance.
Yeah, put it right there where your pen is.
Right, but there might be tall grass or corn or whatever, further south.
Oh,
I mean, we can look at it. I think it's a good idea to move
I
it
know what you're saying.
to the south.
Yeah. I don't think,
Again, that would, you were just suggesting that maybe it would be better north of the driveway, but not far from the driveway.
Right.
yeah, if it's north of the driveway, then it could impede vision. Yeah, that
That's
tree is
true.
actually a little farther back than it's shown on that plan. So it's sort of right where you would theoretically put the sign, the tree, the tree to the north of the driveway.
But if it goes south, to the south of the driveway, you're not gonna be able to see the cars coming up at you, just being a slight triangle in the wrong way.
Well, if it's behind the tree, you'll have plenty of room,
You could, south of the tree,
south and east of the tree.
yeah.
of this tree?
Yeah,
So here.
well, no, right behind the tree. You don't want the tree to block it, so you
Yeah,
put it right behind.
I think
Farrell.
Aaron's point was if you're pulling out of the driveway here, you don't want whoever's pulling out not to see the oncoming
Yeah,
cars.
but I'm saying that I came out there tonight to look at it, and if it's behind the tree, it's far enough back that you
Okay.
could pull up and you wouldn't have a problem.
Right here.
Yeah,
But then Howie's point is if they grow corn in the field to the south of that, then it's completely obscured in the summer.
Well, it would only be for a couple months. but
well,
A couple
Yeah.
months.
you could probably make a deal with the corn owner to not plant that one
Little
little
angle
corner,
there?
yeah.
Little trimming?
How close to the road
It's like 8 plus years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He does go
They
pretty close to the
grow
road.
corn there.
I don't recall corn.
No, I don't remember either.
Yeah.
It seems to me
I don't
it's
think
sort
they
of
do
close
anything
though.
Hey, you got, maybe it was tall grass
Hey, yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
But are you all right with us?
Anyway, you could look at it, especially if you're not gonna install it until the spring and make a decision.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask, are you all right with us doing it in 2 phases? It's more an availability of
You
the,
just put it in its current location for now, and then in the spring, after everybody has a chance to figure this out, you could move it in the correct location south of the driver, so the best shot at both views would be coming
that
out
would be
that
good. So it
driveway.
would go, just to confirm, so it would go in the place it is now within the metal poles, but painted, then we would paint them black so they recede. And then in March, we would install the wooden in the new location.
Right.
And the only complication is you have to run a new light, electrical line for the light if you want to put lights on.
Well, that'll be okay.
Is there power out
Anything
there?
can be done.
There's power now,
There's
yeah.
power now to where the.
You can also,
Yeah.
you can also put it here, because there's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
trees close to the
Yeah.
Yeah.
front of the building.
That almost feels better.
Either way, I think it would be
But
better
the point
than,
is, I understand.
north of the.
Yeah.
the
So
building.
think about it. So you just put it in now, and then in March, you can figure out where you want, where the better location
Okay,
is.
that's a good point.
So you're gonna leave the pipe for the winter.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
paint it black so it recedes.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions about the sign?
And you're not gonna light it until next spring, right?
We don't have to light it till next spring.
I mean, there's no
Right.
fixtures on it
I
now.
don't see it, yeah, even in the
Right,
proposed
right, right.
location.
So when you come in for the final decision in the spring or whenever, bring specifications for the
Yeah,
light.
okay.
You've seen this.
Because we want, down lighting, so it doesn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
certainly affect any traffic coming in either direction.
Yeah, yeah, that would be good, that would work.
What are the closing hours of the Historic Society, though? Is the light important to that? Or are you closed by 5 PM?
We're generally closed by 4 or 5. We haven't figured out our hours, but it tends to be more in the morning and early afternoon.
You might have events there, but
And
you
that would
said,
be different, yeah.
you said not likely, you'd mostly go out into the community to have
Yeah.
events. Yeah. I'll think about that
To
too.
thought whether you would want it or not.
Because we had put in downlighting in the application, but it just wasn't shown in the image.
Okay.
So just to be clear, we'd be voting on allowing the sign in the existing frame, which would be painted black, and then there would be another approval process if they want to move it to a different
Come back,
that's
location.
right.
In the spring.
Build it out of wood,
Okay.
somewhere else in the spring.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
good luck. And if somebody's gonna move them,
Do we have to come back for the wooden sign?
Yeah.
For you to
come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
wooden
then what
sign's
the-
gonna have to be bigger, I think thicker than what's shown on this
Yeah,
drawing.
it looks a little,
Looks a little flimsy
2 inches
now.
might be a little inadequate as a
Oh,
wooden
I
sign.
see, okay. Okay. That makes sense, that makes sense. Thanks a lot.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Robert. See you later.
Second item on the agenda is A.L. Stickle LLC, 13 East Market Street. We want to remove and replace the existing sign.
And we have Richard and Donna Stickle here.
Yes, that was coming over to them.
Well, in order to maintain our building at 13 East Market Street and take care of some deferred maintenance, we'd like to remove the existing clapboard and replace it with the same type of clapboard and paint it the same color. It's the existing and this is the new.
Replacement existing.
When I looked at it, it didn't look like it was in any state of deterioration.
Well, there are parts of it that are
Now, is that, I didn't look at the back. You said you're gonna do the front and the back
Yes,
above the brick.
yes.
Well, certainly if you wanna do it and put on identical siding, that's not a contributing building in the historic district, because it comes after the date of,
1949.
40, yeah, it was 45 is what
45.
this village agreed to as the end date for the historic district in the village. So it's in the National Register district, but not in the local historic district, so I think it's fine. Are you gonna leave the sign up?
We're thinking about it. Do you have a particular opinion about that?
Yeah,
There's a new business going in, right?
Yes.
And they'll come in for their own signs, right?
yeah, I asked,
Sorry to interrupt, one question before we move off of here. I see the examples you give. Are you, with that new wood, same width clapper, you're going to paint it what?
Same color.
White? Okay, so it won't be unfinished, it won't be stained, it will
Right.
be white to duplicate what's there now.
Right.
Thank you.
because I had asked the previous planning board member, how was this done in the past? Because the Shemmy's sign is still on the pizza building, the Rhinebeck hardware store is still on that building, and Tim Decker said, well, they said that that's the name of the building, and the business has nothing to do with the name of the building, and that's the Stickle Building, built in 1949. It'd be nice if, in only one opinion, to put the sign back to remember the Stickle family, and we have some historic pictures that I showed the construction of the building. And I thought that would be wonderful, but that's me as president of the Historical Society, not as chairman of the planning board. Just a suggestion, I think it would be wonderful,
Now, I'm not in favor of that myself.
Okay.
Because I think, first of all, it's not in the historic period, so it's not a historical. Is that metal or plastic, those letters?
It's plastic. It was originally wood. And my dad put 5, 10, and a very small dollar.
I saw pictures like that, yeah.
That was the first one. And then that was taken down and replaced with plastic.
old picture,
Yeah, there's the old picture.
5 and 10, $1 and up.
Yeah.
That's from 1952. And that was a wonderful tradition in the village. The shop owners allowed the kids to paint Halloween things, and the scariest and best kid was awarded, a prize for that. And all the stores on Market Street had these scary monsters in the windows for the month of October. That was pretty a lot of fun. Well, I mean, it's up to the rest of the board. I just think it's,
What I would suggest, instead of keeping the sign, a plastic sign on a non-contributing building, is that the village think about putting like a plaque on the corner of the building.
Yeah, we
Talking,
talked
giving a
about that.
paragraph on the history of the store, and it's,
Yep.
Because that to me would give better information, and it would be an eye level, and I think it would be a better memorial to the building than it would be to have a plastic sign up there. That's my opinion.
Also,
I had the same idea, in fact, I mentioned this to David earlier. And if there were a plaque, it would at least give some information of the historical
Yeah.
meaning that this was the Stickles 5 and 10 for 50 or whatever. how many-
72.
72 years,
Yeah.
right? You know, I see people going up and down and looking in the, you know, looking at the buildings, and they do read the historic plaques, you know.
And there used to be, just to the right of the building, and I don't know which property it's on, there used to be a community bulletin board, and that's gone.
That's Stickles.
You know, you could put a nice plaque there and have some pictures of what, you know, things that look like that, you know? And then give a paragraph or two about the store. Because I think it is a real important tradition that shouldn't be lost, but I'm not a big fan of the sign itself.
Well, if the sign that's there now, and I think the wooden one too, constantly has birds nesting in it.
Yeah, but yeah,
Two,
And
that's
and
them.
Matt's
I saw
not there
that,
every day to go out with a broom anymore, so people on the sidewalk are
No,
kind of
but
at mercy.
plaque is a good, because we have someone who came to the Historical Society, want to have historic tours of the village, because what they want is QR codes nailed to the buildings, so you can just take a picture with your phone, it would say, you know, A.Lee Stickle built this building in 1949, blah, 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 you know, with some historic pictures of it. We're not gonna get involved in that, but plaques, we don't really have plaques around like we should.
if you go to the village of Millbrook, they have a walking tour with plaques. And I find it really interesting, because it gives you enough of a, you know, in an hour, you can walk around the village and see the most important buildings and get some pretty good information about it. And I think they're on poles, which I don't particularly like, because
No.
you know, I prefer it to be in the corner of a building. And I think we could do that on multiple buildings in the village.
It would be good.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Just like the houses have their historic, the commercial businesses would have something with a old picture and
What this used to
a
be.
paragraph, yeah.
That'd be nice.
I'll just make one comment about the material choice, just something you might want to consider, because you mentioned paint rather than stain, is that even in your example there, you can see how many knots are in even the new siding, which, you know, is part of the problem with the existing. So if you are going to paint it, there's a particular product that really mimics wood really well, and it's called True Exterior siding, and it will come in the same size. And if you're planning on painting it, it'll take paint smooth, you know, don't get the wood grain, it'll look false. But if you're truly planning on painting it, not staining it, that's gonna end up having a lot less knots bleeding through it.
Is
So
it composite?
it's a composite, yeah.
So could
It's-
we use hardy board?
You could also use hardy board, sure.
And that would be okay with you guys?
Yeah.
Well, hardy board is approved in the village as a replacement for wood because it's fireproof and lasts longer and absorbs paint, so it works pretty well.
Well, frankly, our first thought was hardy board. And then we thought, well, let's make this easy on ourselves when we come to the board and replace it with in kind.
Yeah, well, you can do either.
If you're
but
okay with
the
hardy
hardy board
board.
would last longer.
We know that.
We just like smooth hardy.
Yeah, we know.
Because
Smooth
the
board. We
grainy
want the
stuff
bumpy
looks
stuff.
like plastic.
Yeah, it
A
does.
smooth hardy board.
Yeah.
I believe it comes that
John's
size.
question.
Hardy board is prone to expansion and contraction, so people have moved away for it in lieu of this product that I mentioned previously.
Yeah.
It's also significantly heavier, so depending on how that's built,
Right.
it's quite a bit of load to put on it. So that would be the two drawbacks to it. But any of those products will take
Oh,
paint
wasn't
better.
that part of it again?
True Exterior,
True
TRU Exterior, Williams carries it.
Yeah.
And you just have to be careful, both with the hardy and that you get the smooth and not the wood
Right,
grain.
right.
If you go to Montgomery Road here, that was hardy board 20 years ago. And you can see it starting to deteriorate along the baseboards and
Yeah.
the seams where water
We had
gets in.
hardy board at our house in Cranbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works really well, and I think probably the newer versions are probably better than the older
They
versions.
just,
And it-
they handle the water better, they don't expand and contract quite
Right,
as much.
and too many people buy the pre-painted version and then put it up, and they don't seal around the windows and around on the baseboards, and you really should put a second coat on it when it's up, so you seal all the cracks and everything, because the water seeps in and then it starts getting at the edges.
Yeah, you end up seeing the nail holes and the putty spots and
And
things
that
like that.
Montgomery Road 2 didn't do that. They just put up the pre-painted version
And then
that
the color
shows
match,
now.
yeah, yeah.
20 years later, you can tell.
Yeah, so the point just being that the wood siding of today is so inferior a product, you're gonna end up having to, bin over, shellac the knots, and then put multiple coats of paint, and it's probably still going to flash through, so it might cost a little more, but it certainly will save some in paint over time.
Well, we're happy that you think that we could do something other than wood, frankly.
Yeah, I think as long as the aesthetic is the same,
It'll look
it
the
works
same.
for me, and the more it takes paint and lasts and
Right.
looks good for a longer period of time, it's only a good thing. And then another suggestion might just be to offer your new tenant the stickle sign to put in the store somewhere too, before somebody just throws that in the dumpster.
I don't think we'll throw it in the dumpster. We might put it on the back of the building or something.
Yeah, just something,
Just for fun,
before the
It's not going in
contractor
the garbage.
pulls it off, okay.
Stickles are savers.
Fair enough.
All right. Okay, thank you.
So we can approve whichever of the three you want, or we could approve any of the three that you want, and you can make a decision.
Good.
Because all of them will end up looking the same if they're finished well. So I can
Is that
make
a
a
motion?
motion, to approve either wood, hardy board, or true exterior siding to replace the existing wood in the same depth and configuration,
Clapboard side.
and painted wood.
Right,
Clapboard.
Yeah.
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 We have a second?
I'll second that, Jeff.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And you'll let us know if there's a plaque in the future.
Yeah, we'll think about that.
I didn't get my opinion of, I originally liked David's keeping the sign because I like the Rhinebeck. I like, some of the other ones that have been around. And I think it's a nice continuum to the past. When they said, what's up there is plastic, I like the font from the original one from when it was built in the late 40s. But it was wood, and you could see the lines going across that held it. It's like, I like the plaque too, but I also would be fine with the original font, stickles, 5 and 10 and $1, maybe made out of metal. It's just another thing, you don't have to do anything. It's like, but
I didn't realize it was not the original stuff. It's plastic, and then that's what sort of, I moved in John's direction. But we really need to talk to, Lydia's not here tonight,
It's
but
been plastic since the 70s.
to talk to,
Maybe the new
The mayor or
tenant would do
someone
something
about it.
in a similar style,
Right.
just a
They'll be
throwback.
before you to ask you those questions. In the lease, we wrote that they are responsible for coming to the board for anything they want to do.
Well, the property owner is ultimately responsible.
Right.
The applicant, the tenant can come in, but he has to have a letter from the owner.
Yeah, right. So they have, any ideas they have will be bounced off us, and then
the
they'll,
new tenant will be coming to us at some point.
yeah, for whatever it is they decide for signage or whatever.
Okay?
Okay, good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Have a nice Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, last item on the agenda is Mallory Leitner and Lisa Thacker, 58 North Boston Street, site plan application for 2 currently installed heat pumps on the south side existing. Now, 58 North Boston, is that on the new register, or is it?
It's in the overlay district, it just
It's
moved
in
into
the
the
overlay
overlay.
district, but it was built after 45, we in the same.
Yeah. When was it built?
1920, I think.
So it is on the register then.
Sorry, you are Mallory?
I apologize, I'm Lisa Fountain.
You're Lisa?
I'm Mallory.
You're Mallory.
I apologize.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
So do we have pictures of what the issue is?
Yeah, you should. I attached them too. Yeah, there you go.
So are these heat pumps or are these air
They're heat
conditioners?
pumps.
So these are heat pumps?
They're not the
And-
flat ones.
And you're proposing to put boxwoods,
Yeah, what was the name of them? anyway,
Written down.
our landscaper knows what it is. And she came-
Franklin's Gym.
Franklin's Gym, and she-
GEM Boxwoods.
Right, and she came by, and she went, these get to be about 4 feet tall and this wide, and we'll put 4 of them, and you won't ever see it.
And,
This is what it looks like.
It's gonna go down one.
Okay.
is there another,
They're 50.
Oh, you know,
There you go.
yeah, there you go. We submitted that. Yeah, but it'll be taller than that. She said 4 feet, so that's what we're after.
Okay.
And I think, Darren, you know about this. What's the clearance that you should typically, you need to be aware you can't put it too close to it.
Correct.
Yes, yeah.
Correct, we understand.
And our landscaper is
Right.
aware of.
Okay.
I mean, and
Those
when
restrictions.
we had them installed, the company that installed them was very clear about that as well.
Good, good. The objective is to shield from, pedestrian or motorist view.
But they have to
But
get
not
air.
inhibit the flow
Right.
Yeah.
of air out of the equipment.
All right,
And
thank
we
you.
want to hide those. We don't like to look at them either.
But
And
to
how
Jeff's
high
point,
did
they can
you-
be pretty significant. Some of the heat pumps require 2 feet. of
Oh,
air
yeah,
in
yeah.
front of them. Some
We'll
require
bring
6
the
inches.
garden
So,
out.
yeah.
But if you're gonna
We'll
do
double
4, you
check.
do 2 in front of each,
Yeah.
correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So the back side would be all
All
over
over
the
it.
end.
Yeah, we're not gonna do anything around the back.
as well as the clearance from the houses, so there should be enough circulation.
Yeah, it'll be
That should be a
plenty away
diagram.
from
It'll
the
tell
house.
you each of the 4 sides, how much space it needs.
If we need to check with the installer about the proper clearage, then we will,
Yeah,
so.
and then you might have to walk around, they grow, just take some shears,
Oh,
and walk around the
absolutely.
back.
Yes,
and
of
walk
course,
around
in
the
fact,
back.
we're getting ready to do,
I planted a boxwood this big and it's 6 feet tall now, so.
I know, you have to
Wow.
really, yeah, you
to
do.
the-
Yeah, we'll
I
make
once had a landscaper, he said, every shrub wants to grow up and become a tree.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
And you would let them grow high enough to shield from view, not trim them down to a foot high.
Well, of course.
Oh, yeah, and we don't want to see them either. I want to.
But our main goal would be to shield them from street and sidewalk
Uh-huh.
view.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
No, the major problem in the village right now is there's over 75 split systems, heat pumps, other devices, that people are not thinking like, well, you could have put this way back on the side, someone runs the pipes right up in front of the building, where you could have gone along the base and gone up in the back. You're trying to say, pay attention to, because contractors go, well, I can go right in,
Exactly.
and
Well,
we
when
want
we
people to
had
think.
these installed, we knew we were gonna put something up to shield them, because as she said, we don't wanna see them either. It's ugly, so.
Yeah, we don't want to drive and see them at our house either.
Where do your line sets go? Do they go into the basement from here?
Yes.
There's one up the side of the house, it looks like.
Oh, here's
Yeah.
one.
Is that a gutter or a seam?
That's,
Or a line
I
pipe?
think that's a gutter.
It's a gutter.
Yeah. No, they go in the basement. All the equipment is in the basement.
Nice.
And all the duct work is in the attic. So,
You have hot air,
forced air, hot and cold.
forced air, hot and cold, so that's easy, you have that already. People that have radiators or other things that have to think about bringing in the line sets to go through radiators, but if you have ductwork, that's easier to do.
Right. We have a split in the back, but you can't see it from the street.
I think to David's point, when you ask about the clearances on this, around the units, if you could just pass the message along to your contractor, who I know is from quite a bit out of town, that there is a mechanical permit required in the village of Rhinebeck, and this thing would normally
Exactly.
be
Well,
aired out ahead of time. So
We've already discussed
in the
it.
event that they come back to the village, it'd be
Yeah,
nice for them
believe
to start that way and end up here through different channels.
Right, no,
Yes.
and, it should have been done. I mean, we have pending permits waiting, we've already had inspections on our pending permits that were waiting to be released, so,
And I always ask for permits. But
Yeah,
I just,
it's helpful when you inform the contractors too, they may not know,
Absolutely.
so that if they end up with another project in Rhinebeck,
yeah,
it
he's
just
done a
saves
lot.
someone having to go through this after the fact.
he knows.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Exactly.
He knows.
So we want to make a motion to approve the site plan application for 58 North Parsonage Street.
Make that motion.
I'll second the motion, Jeff.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you
time
very
and your
much. Really
understanding and
appreciate it.
patience.
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
And for what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you. easy night
Well, I'm glad, that's good.
So far.
so far.
We got
Now,
minutes next.
Jeff says we have 7 sets of minutes,
You do.
and we're going to have to make individual motions for each set of minutes. Jeff had the list that they are.
Okay. All right, starting with July 18th, and let's note that John was not at this meeting, so it's for the rest of us to approve. These are as drafted by Miranda, and my comments on this one in red. I think you've all seen them, and I didn't hear anyone object to any.
So you'll give Ryan black copies of all of these?
Yes, yeah,
Those have already been shared.
Okay.
I will, what I do each time is I take out the changes. I note at the top the date of the meeting they were approved in, and I add the word approved to the file name, so that you know.
Okay.
Okay, so that's this one.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the minutes of July 18, 2023?
As amended.
As amended.
As amended.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second, Jeff.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain, right, so it's here.
Next one is August 1st. John Clark acted as the acting chairman in this meeting. David was not in this meeting.
Right.
My comments in red. Maybe a little harder to see because they came, I guess your comments at burgundy is the way it came?
Mine are red lines, so whenever they come up, it's
Yeah.
like the next color.
Oh,
Yeah.
so for example, this here.
Yeah.
This, right, the red line ones are Darren's comments.
Got a typo right there, Jeff, you just scrolled by. Line 68 compliant.
That.
And that. Two typos in line 68.
Typos, okay.
And complaint.
Yeah, compliant.
No complaint.
Okay, and Darren's change here, status of the planning board with the building permit, et cetera, and we adjourned. Any other questions on this? I move to approve the minutes of the August 1st, 2023 planning board meeting as amended.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye. And you abstain, okay. Okay. Next is September 5th. Again, this one we have both Darren and I comment. September 5th.
I was
And
not
once
present
again, and once again, in the present, we don't, John wasn't present at this meeting. My comments in red.
I'm retiring from my Beacon job in end of the year, so I won't be missing Bill meetings anymore.
It's still Yankee games.
Wow.
Well, I come during Yankee games, unless it's the playoffs. And I don't think we have to worry about that anymore.
Think of all that.
Days of Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle are over.
And also Darren's comments. Like for instance here. Right.
Want to make a motion to approve the minutes of, what day was this? September 5.
September 5th.
I'll make a motion, oh, I was there, yes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September 5th, 2023 as amended.
I'll second, Jeff.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. John
Except
abstains.
John abstaining.
Okay.
Okay, September 19th, we have mine, Darren's, and John's comments. Okay, we did Archtop, we did John Jacks. The comments and corrections in blue are John's, in red are mine, and redlined are Darren's. This was the Eric Banks on 60 Parsonage, where he had already installed the heat pumps. That correction here for Robert Whitey. Discussion, see, a couple of typo corrections. On the 41 Livingston Street, John made a few corrections here with the wording to make it correct and readable. And that was that meeting?
Motion to approve as amended.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Jeff?
All those in favor?
Aye. That was 9/19. Now we have October 3rd. Again, and this time we had mine and Darren's comments. First of the fiber optic meetings, and I see some changes here Darren did to clarify information about standard for the arch top. Corrected the man's name. This is the portion of the letter that Ken McLaughlin stated that it was legal. Here's some corrections and clarifications Darren did about this. We're now, by the way, here we're down into 810 Chestnut Street. Darren made a few corrections here to note this was actually called a notice of violation, an NOV, dated July 26th, et cetera, with all the accompanying information. Then we did another heat pump. That was pretty much it. Any other questions on this one? Motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 3rd, 2023 as amended.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye. October 17. All right, Smiley and Associates, a little sign, the Beck. Here was the public hearing for Arch Top. Clarified exactly what that was about. Darren did some changes here to correct the agreement on the screening.
There's a typo on 36 in my change. Minimum.
Minimum. Come on. Minimum, okay. Close the hearing, Chamber of Commerce sign. Public hearing for 810 Chestnut Street. This was the 2.5-hour meeting. Once again, Darren clarified that we were talking about a July 26 notice of violation, NOV, issued by the enforcement officer. A bunch of other information. We talked about the various changes. And Darren offered a lot of corrections or clarifications on exactly what was included in the resolution, in the what we wanted to be changed. Here's where we got the letter from A.L. Stickle about they want to put Clapboard on, and we adjourned. Anything else here?
I'll make a motion with amendments.
I'll second Darren.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
And save. I got it.
Misses a lot.
Last one
This
was the
was a
last
bad one.
meeting. Okay, we were all here. Talked a lot about 810 Chestnut Street. This was the resolve. We talked about how whereas didn't matter as much as resolve. Resolve was the important part of it.
That was tough, that meeting.
Yes, and here's a resolution to clarify exactly what we changed in the resolved wording. And we approved it, and that was it. It was a 47-minute meeting, November 7th.
And they tried, only because I said, we're ready to approve this tonight.
Yes.
If you wanted to make the whereases, which are irrelevant, We can come back in 2 weeks. Let me talk to my client in the hallway. And they came back and said, we're okay.
Line 37, Jeff?
Yes.
Is January spelled right?
Unbelievable.
7 Jan.
You still got away with tearing it down in the store.
Okay,
What's that?
correct.
Still got away with tearing down the
Correct that.
store.
Thank you, good eyes, Ryan.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second, John.
Those in favor?
Aye. Okay,
And we are caught up.
Caught up.
I've been there a little over 3 years.
We're caught up.
Miranda just sent tonight, so I think she's on the ball.
Okay.
Nice work on that, Jeff. That was a lot.
That was a lot of work.
And everybody that, and all the comments. So, you know, I hope we can stay within two weeks of the meeting. Typically what happens is I try to get the video out to Ryan within a week. Because I know a lot of people probably look at that when they review the,
Yeah, no, it's super helpful.
right. And if I look at the website, they get a lot of views on the website.
Yes, I mean, some of them are close to or over 50 views. You know, some of them I don't know exactly if it's because of specific items on the agenda, but some do get a significant amount of views. I think some going back to 2022. I mean, I think there was one meeting that's, you know, close to 80 views or something like
Jeff, how
that.
many views do their videos get? Are we getting people looking at the videos?
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Are you talking about the videos or the?
I'm talking about the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, the videos.
Oh, the YouTube channel is over like 100 views now for just the planning board's YouTube channel. And then each meeting video is up there. Oh yeah, it's over like 30 or 40 views.
It makes sense, especially with something like Chestnut. They're probably
meetings.
reviewing
To
it.
review back what was said. Yeah, that's good. We appreciate Jeff doing that.
Chestnut Street, yeah. Chestnut Street. I'll share this with you because we went through so many things with so many different addresses, and we go back to some of the old ones. What I started to do was make an index of what was in the agenda for which night. So I created a spreadsheet that's got the street, the number, the applicant, what they requested, and what planning board meeting it was in. Which makes it easily sortable, which tells me that we had 9 meetings on 810 Chestnut Street. And, you know, a couple on some others, but I'm keeping this up to date for my own use, but I'll share it with you if you're interested. I'll send you a copy.
Do would it be okay if we had a Dropbox file that we all shared, where you could keep that
We could do
updated?
that. Whose Dropbox, where would the Dropbox be?
I mean, I'm happy to create one. I don't know if that would be somehow breaking.
I don't think it'd be breaking the open meetings law. It's just anything new, you guys have to be careful on how much you talk about it as a group.
I'm just thinking like a shared document where like that index and also the meeting minutes that we've approved.
Previous stuff, yes, I don't think
Not even
there
the
would
minutes,
be.
but the tally
an
of
open
the minutes, so we
meetings.
know that we approved this many minutes or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can invite everybody to Dropbox. I'm happy to do that.
Just for me, you want to,
Well, you can, if they want to do it, it's like, yeah, so if you let me know, and I'll just,
Yeah, I'll just invite everybody. You
and
can
it's
keep
up-
it in there.
and it can be updated.
Because it's useful if you're trying to reference something.
Well, yeah, that way, not only can you sort it by date, what happened on which date, but you can sort it by applicant, or see how many things happened at the same address, et cetera.
Yeah, you know where to look back to prepare for a meeting or something.
We're down to any other thing that needs to be discussed in the agenda.
Just food for thought for the December 5th meeting is if we want to keep the first meeting in January. Because it's the day after the new year.
a lot of people get 2 days for Christmas and 2 days for New Year's. So a lot of people might not be around if we have some important topic that people want to come to. Obviously, nobody's interested in what happened tonight.
Yeah, this year it seems split. I've heard people have the 2 days in a row, and people also have the Friday, Monday, depends on who you work for.
Some people get on a scheduled holiday, take it whenever you want.
Anyway, yeah.
So I can tell you, if you're working for the Village of Rhinebeck, you're only getting the Monday.
So you
Sorry,
the
Ryan.
first.
And some people will be off the second because they're entitled to 2 holidays. There's an odd year that Christmas Eve and Christmas Day fell, and all over the weekend, right? It falls on Saturday and Sunday, then people get Friday and Monday off. But this is like an odd one. What do you do about the second?
And also that choice means whether you got it in 2023 or 2024. There's a whole bunch of things.
That's true, yes.
You got
Some people
extra
have to use up their
holidays.
days by the end of the calendar year. A lot of different rules and regulations by a lot of different people. So there might not be, a lot of it might have gone away for the holidays, it might not be back in town. I guess,
So are you suggesting we don't have
The
first
board,
January?
not this specific board as a unit right now has, but previous boards have only met once in January because of how the calendar fell, where it was the day right after the new year. People were either not going to be here, either they were traveling, or they just wanted an extra day.
also it'd be extremely unlikely that people are going to submit site plan applications Christmas week.
Correct, that would be the deadline, yes.
It has to be in by Wednesday of Christmas week, and Tuesday of Christmas week, I don't think. People will still be on vacation from Christmas.
So should we agree then,
You guys can sleep on it, because
I'm happy to vote on it. Or
I think tentatively, we ought to agree not to meet on January 2nd
uh-huh.
unless at the second meeting in December,
Okay.
there's a big, important crisis.
I'll
see what
bring
comes
it
in.
back up at the December 5th
Okay.
meeting if we want to finalize it with a vote.
So we can make plans if we want to. I think I'm going to be around on January 2nd.
Yeah, I'm good either way, but I get the logic that somebody might not. Somebody might have something to say that might miss the meeting.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
Ryan, I just did in the meeting transmittals, I just asked about a couple of follow-up items, some of the things that have come up brought up by the board members, like unlimited tomorrow and the extension that we granted that they didn't plant the trees.
So I can share a little light on that tonight. Justin and I just finalized a letter to Mr. Cohen and his retained planner, whatever you want to call him, Jeff Newman, and it's going to be going out probably tomorrow.
So there's progress, and then I think John had brought up the car charger that was put in front of that.
So I don't want to dive too much into that. There's been, I got to choose my words carefully here.
You could say there's action underway.
There's action, but there's been some pretty direct emails back and forth between Justin and Mr. Newman, because Mr. Newman believes he is not in violation of what you guys approved back then. So there's obvious ways Justin is going to handle this to try to be as professional as possible, but there is action being taken to address that.
I think the other one was the solar enclosure on the roof of the department store.
That was still an open question.
And it looks awful. Every time I drive by, my eye goes right up.
Oh,
there.
the cellular.
What's your name?
So we're still trying to nail down exactly which rep is responsible to bring in, because obviously those permits are still open. So, and actually we just found the original folder from OmniPoint when that all started on the roof of the department store.
Oh, so there is some
So
documentation.
possibly in there could be breadcrumbs for Ken to find out more of a direct contact person via T-Mobile to get this, addressed and in front of you guys.
Isn't it the property owner's responsibility ultimately? And you could,
He felt because it's sort of a landlord-tenant relationship that the Shrivers don't maintain any of the equipment on the roof.
yeah, I know.
That
I hate to hassle them,
it's-
but they should at least be able to give you a name who to send it to if you can't find it any other way.
Yeah, we kind of been leaning towards, the different go-betweens within the cellular, within T-Mobile, and it's not SBA, it's another one of those outfits
Yeah.
that's involved.
Notoriously murky.
It's amazing. There's companies hired just to do the legwork, and then there's a company hired that gets the antennas here, and then there's another company that actually does the actual work, the installation of the antenna.
Once it gets
on
approved, the
actual
first
tower.
person goes away. It has nothing
Everybody
to do.
disappears into the wind. They're,
And has
in
no
Wyoming or
responsibility for the
something,
next step.
and things like that. Yes.
So, it is an eyesore though. I mean, it really is awful.
Really is. I better see the antennas.
Probably I would, yeah.
And that piece of red plastic or whatever that is.
Yeah, every time I come into town from Rhinebeck, coming up to the light there, you can see the crack of light in between the corner.
Yes.
It really looks like a temporary thing.
It's like a piece of cardboard up there or something that's blown away halfway in the wind. Anyway, are we adjourned?
Just one other thing I wanted to, and I think that Ryan confirmed this. You know that they're building, the Stickles is building the house. My only concern, and I sent out an email earlier, was you may recall that they came to us with a proposal for a building, it wasn't a site plan review, but they came to us with a proposal with a very large, sloping, southward-facing roof full of solar panels. And that was, I think, in the February meeting. And we had a lot of issues with that, and they took them away. My understanding from Ryan is what they're building is the plan they came back to us at the May 16th meeting, dated May 2nd, for what looks like a Victorian, and they redid the interior. It looks like a Victorian, and it doesn't have the solar panels, but that's what's actually being built, right, Ryan?
Correct. Those plans were used throughout the process and have not changed since that process.
Yeah. So
So it's the side gable version rather than the front gable version.
Yes.
I think so. It's,
And the long side of the roof is towards the street, like most of the other buildings
It's the
on
one
that
that we
lawn.
tried to steer them away from a little bit and didn't succeed.
This is the, come on, open up. Is this it? No, stop.
Did everybody see that building when the the asbestos came off? Before
I
they
drove by it,
demolished
but I
it?
don't know if I paid too much attention to it. What were you specifically reacting to?
The wood underneath was almost in perfect condition.
Really?
And it had nice little details on the corners and, I mean, it looked like a much better cottage. I don't know if I would have voted for it if it looked like that, because it really did look nice, once the asphalt or asbestos shingles were off of it. They covered up a lot of the trim around the windows and the corner boards and things like that.
Yeah, lost a lot of detail in that position.
This is the one they're doing, this is the one that they came to us with.
Yeah.
And here's their mock-ups.
Yeah.
And they came to us after we had a lot of comments we weren't happy with on the first plan.
Yeah, it was awkward because they were caught in the middle just as things were getting adopted. It made it really hard.
Yeah.
I saw Scott Crumpshack the other day, and he said the Stickles called him and said, come on over and save anything because we know you will save it in May, reuse it somewhere. And he says, I went in and he goes, there's nothing there. There was just nothing of any kind of architectural. He says, I took a couple of doorknobs and hinges. I said, the only thing I saw was the front door. And he goes, yeah, they're going to use that on the shed. It's like, because there was really nothing there, so.
Yeah.
Seems to be the right size. Judy said, look at that giant hole. I said, you have to leave room to put the tar, waterproofing foam and everything. And then there's a bulldozer there today when it came back from Kingston. Said, see, they're filling in the big hole. It's got a small building. Oh, I didn't know. So I said,
Thank
following the plan.
There was something I missed on that site plan, and that is just how close the excavation comes to the neighbor's driveway
It does.
to the north, and there's still parking in that driveway. So it's just a sheer cliff, and you know, all it's gonna take is some freeze and thaw, and that thing's just gonna pop, and
I
it's
think
gonna slide in that hole.
The bulldozer was, I mean, not the bulldozer, the
Excavator.
claw thing was, excavator was filling it in today. I saw all this pink foam glued to the building.
It all got backfilled good, because it was, I mean, it was
Yeah,
like an
so
8-foot
they're
sheer
fill-
cliff.
They were
you know,
filling it
from
up
the
today.
cars.
My car there.
No, I couldn't believe the neighbors of both Subarus there, and I said, but I'll catch that next time.
So the site plan was presumed to be approved
Yeah.
as part of that process because of the limbo land
It
of
was in the limbo, it was in
of
there,
the
yes.
adoption of the historic preservation law.
Which then got modified now because it is approved, but it's 1945, it's not. So it's still in, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be confusion for the rest of our
Oh,
lives.
that's well, yes, it is.
Well, we probably won't have another case like this. Was very unusual because of the dates.
This
You
took a
know,
whole year.
There won't be another one of these, I don't think.
Oh, no,
But
not.
anyway, what's being built is the last one we saw that they modified per our
Yeah.
feedback. So, you know, I was
was
just
much better than
concerned
the
that
first one.
they got the right plan. They weren't using the first plan.
Yeah.
Now, in the vacant lot across the street, somebody wants to build a house there, they have to come to us to approve that vacant lot.
Yes,
Someone does now, or you're just saying?
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
will because it's
That's in the historic district overlay.
But there's not someone attached to it now that's proposing something.
As far as I know,
Still a
no.
vacant lot. But now we have control over the vacant lot, because
Mhm.
it's said for many years, any new construction in the historic district has to come to the planning board for approval. So we don't build those picture window black houses like that.
Yeah, so the post-45 buildings in the National Register Historic District have to come for, they don't come for demolition approval, but they come for site plan
No,
approval.
they come for demolition approval, but not,
Yeah, it's
It's
the
the other way around now.
They can tear the building down, but they have to get approval for what goes up.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then in the 45 and below, you get both shots.
Yes.
For both demolition and site plan.
But I just want to modify above 45, they don't have to come to us at all.
They have to come to us, it's like that vacant lot. And they have to come to us for site plan approval to build anything substantial in the
Or add
National
to it.
Register Historic District.
Or add to
Yeah,
a 1946 building, they
right.
have to come
But they
to
can
us.
demolish it without coming to us for approval.
I don't know how Neil Lawson, nobody paid attention to what he was doing.
Yeah, that was,
It was,
everybody was in pandemic panic, I think, or something.
Jeff was up and on about, you know, the Valero station is on the National Register.
I just explicitly trusted the guy because I've known him for 40 years.
We did too.
And I thought he was the best around, and I just couldn't believe it after I actually took a look at it. I think, and he moved away, I think he was sort of
He's
on
in
the way out
Minnesota,
the
he
door.
retired to Minnesota, and Mike Frazier was never there. I went on a walkthrough before it started with him and Jennifer Bensworth. I said, come on, what about Montgomery Street? The hospital kills it, I'd never get that through. What about Mill? Those beautiful houses towards the Benner House on Mill. Said, it's not contiguous, I'll never get it past, it has to be contiguous. You have to like pick houses going up the hill towards the Benner House and say, that's in the district, and now we can hook into it. I said, but you should do the cemetery.
Yeah, the cemetery probably should,
said
although it's
you
under
should-
no threat, so it's not like it's crucial. It's
Like you
only
said-
if you want to use it to get grants.
Because we did do Crystal Lake, but you said you should have done cemetery too, just think about
So I
Sunset
didn't
Day.
do that because that's contiguous with the Astrodome.
It is. The Astronome's on the other register though, but it's on, it's
I
on
wonder why I
both.
didn't do that. That didn't make any sense. The whole thing
We
didn't
didn't
make
do
any
that, we
sense.
didn't do that. Should have been done.
Motion to adjourn, I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, don't eat too much turkey.